I am going to call the meeting of the Essex Junction Development Review Board to order. It is July 16th, 2026 at 6:31 p.m. right now. I am Chris Ewan, the Community Development Director, filling in for a moment here until the DRB goes through its annual reorganization and elects chair and vice chair. So I will go over the open meeting script right now. The meeting of the Essex Junction Development Review Board has come to order. This meeting is a hybrid meeting, which means that some or all of the public body is meeting remotely, and some are meeting physically at 2 Lincoln Street in Essex Junction, where the public may attend to observe, listen, and participate contemporaneously. One member of this public body or other staff is present at 2 Lincoln Street to ensure the public can participate if desired. Please note that while we will strive to provide means for those attending remotely to participate in the public comment period, there may be technical difficulties or reasons that otherwise prevent or interrupt remote public participation. Therefore, it is important to note that the open meeting law only ensures the public's rights to participate and comment at a public meeting by attending at the designated physical location as posted in the notice and agenda. If a member of the public or of the public body has technical difficulties accessing this meeting remotely, please alert us by using the chat feature on Zoom or by emailing me at cuyuen@essexjunction.org. And in the event of a technical difficulty that cannot be resolved, we may continue the hearing if necessary to Thursday, August 20th at 6:30 p.m. at 2 Lincoln Street. Please note that, actually, it does appear that members of the DRB are all here in person, so it is not necessary to vote by roll call. So that's it. The first item on the agenda is the reorganization. Every year, all city boards elect a chair and a vice chair for a 1-year term. I'm happy to answer any questions about roles and responsibilities, but you have seen the chair and vice chair in action before. The role of these 2 positions is to conduct the meeting in an orderly fashion. And I guess if you have thought about this and are willing to, or if you want to nominate a member of the board to be chair or vice chair, you are welcome to make such motion.
I nominate Maggie to be the
Yeah, Maggie, you've done a really good job
Yeah.
running the meetings.
yeah.
Do we have a second for that? Actually, who made the motion first?
I did.
Okay, so Kristen made the
I
motion.
make a motion to nominate Maggie.
I will second the nomination of Maggie.
Any further discussion on that?
If you're super opposed to this,
No, I can do it. It was supposed to lead to this. It's fine. I will.
You were the vice chair, so that makes sense.
I will. Thank you, gang.
thank you.
All in favor, please say aye.
I.
All opposed, please say nay. All right, you're now the chair, Maggie.
Are there?
So you can,
I take over now.
yeah, you can take over now.
Thank you, board. Are there any nominations, self or for other, for the vice chair?
I am happy to do it.
Yeah, I move to nominate Luke to be the vice chair.
I second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, welcome aboard.
Yay.
It might
you're
help to just
sitting in the
swap
right
seats
seat.
so they can. Makes it easier for members of the public to know. And,
Yay.
Oh, yeah.
I'm Kristen, by the way.
Susan, nice to meet
Nice
you.
to meet you. Welcome.
Oh, you're sitting lower.
But I guess I was.
Okay.
It might also help to do a round of introductions for everybody to
New
know
members,
the
yeah.
names
Sure.
of everybody else. And
Susan, you mind starting our round of introductions?
Susan Swagger, and I live down the street.
Susan is an alternate right now, filling in for Dylan.
I'm Kristen Gilday, and I think this is my last year of my term. I'm done next June. But I live up the street, I would say. So,
Amanda Svensson. I live down Maple Street, and this is my first meeting.
My name's Maggie Massey, and I also live in Essex Junction. I don't know what year this is. I think this is my second term, and I was previously the vice chair, and I'm now the chair.
I'm Luke Brockmeyer. This is my first term, so it's either year 2 or year 3. And I'm the vice chair now.
Yay. All right, so I take over for you now, Chris?
Yes,
Or
you do. Yeah,
Okay.
you are the chair.
All right. Are there any agenda additions or changes to the agenda? Chris, don't you usually tell us that? Or am I just reviewing the?
No,
I didn't
this
see
is-
any.
I don't have any
Oh.
additional changes, but it's any board member can suggest
That was always Chris that did it.
any changes if necessary.
Okay. So moving forward, we have the June 18th, 2026 minutes for approval.
Sorry, the
Or did I pass the,
public to be heard. So for items not on the agenda.
okay. Inviting public comments for subjects that are not on the agenda. So is anyone here to speak on something not listed? Doesn't look like we have anyone online.
It does not appear so.
Okay. So now, draft minutes from June 18th, 2026. Were there any comments, corrections, concerns with those minutes?
No.
Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the draft minutes?
I move to approve the draft minutes.
I'll second.
So, question, those of us who are not here because we are new, do we abstain from this?
You
'Cause
do
I-
not need to have been at the meeting to vote to approve the minutes.
Okay.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, minutes are approved. Okay. So we're going to open the public meeting. Are there any conflicts of interest to be disclosed for this topic? That's for the board, really, right? If any board members have?
That is, yep.
Okay.
As the board members.
All right, so if you intend to speak on this, the next topics on the agenda, could you please raise your right hand? Yeah. All right, do you swear that the evidence you give in the give in the cause under consideration shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth under the pains and penalty of perjury? I do. All right, thank you. Okay, so accepting the written information that was presented to the board, and then do we have someone to present
Hey, do we have a-
application?
if you're representing the applicants for 26, 28 Pearl Street, or if you are the applicant, it would be great if you could step up.
Okay, them know or what?
Yeah, just right there,
Right there.
presenter seat.
My name is Alistair Parker. I live on Main Street, and I own the property on Pearl Street, 26 and 28.
Okay, so if you could just kind of give us an overview of the project and the plans?
Sure. There's a porch located on the side of the house along the driveway that needs to be repaired. We'd like to remove the flooring of the porch and turn that into more of a patio space by replacing the porch floor with pavers. And then on the opposite side of the house, facing Stewart Construction, there's a set of windows there that we would like to replace with shorter windows, slightly shorter windows, because there's going to be a countertop on the interior there, and we don't want to bury the windows. The material is going to stay the same. The existing is white vinyl. We're not going to change the aesthetic of it at all. So that's fairly straightforward. And then the third item is at the back of the property on the carriage house. We have tenants that live above the three-car garage there, and their stairs that lead up to their apartment, they need to be repaired. The joist hangers are rusting and rotting, and our plan is to just remove everything and replace existing. We're not going to change the footprint, and it's just going to be unpainted, pressure treated the way it is now.
Do we have any, do I go over the staff report first and then?
You can go through this as you
Actually,
wish.
you can go through the staff report, Chris.
In terms of the staff, city staff has done a review of the rules that apply over here, and found that section 620, the design review overlay district rules, do not apply, because exterior alterations are exempt, but then the historic preservation overlay district rules do apply. There's information in the staff report about what the historic register currently, what it says, the historic inventory says about this building, about this property, and whether or not the standards appear to be met. So, yeah. If we move down through the staff report, first part is about applicability. So yes, we believe that the rules do apply. Number 3, historic preservation standards. So this site is currently residential and is proposed to maintain, to stay residential use, so seems to be pretty straightforward there. And in our opinion, based on the review, it seems that the proposed renovations retain and preserve the historic character of the structure there. I suppose there is, the major change here, as major as you could consider it, is the image in the middle here, where the covering will no longer be there. It will just be pavers. From the historic inventory photographs, I think from the 70s, that's I think we have a photo of what that looks like. So there was some like that was there as of the 70s. We don't know whether or not that is like truly original. And there's a kind of a portion of the building, like an outbuilding further back, that's no longer there. But that's not relevant anymore because that's been kind of long gone.
Sorry, I just wanted to clarify. We're going to keep the roof over the porch.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep, the only thing that's changing is the decking.
I see.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and that addition on the back there was we removed that in 2016. It was falling down. It was not well made.
Right.
So we're happy to get rid of that. I like those pictures, though. I haven't seen those.
Yeah, so that explains. I think that's the biggest visible change in terms of what could be a deviation from what was historic there. Yeah, everything else is nearly kind of like for like, and yeah, in our review, it does appear that these changes are fairly minor and it appears to be pretty straightforward. I think that's all I have to
Yeah,
really say about it.
okay. Do any board members have questions for the applicant or Chris?
On the porch, so are you saying that it would still be, it looks like it's like a foot off the ground? And just rather than being wood, it would be stone?
No, we're gonna remove the decking
Uh-huh.
so that, and then the pavers will be at ground level.
Okay.
Yeah. So they'll be,
Okay, but the
yeah, we're
current.
just trying to open the space up a little bit.
Yeah, okay.
Make it a little bit more usable and, yeah, basically just to open it up a little bit.
And so the columns there
The
were replaced at some point to be less decorative?
Yeah, my plan, because they're gonna be, making contact with the ground,
Uh-huh.
the posts are gonna be pressure treated. But my plan is to, mimic what the front porch has for columns. So the edges will be chamfered, and there'll be some detail to them. So we're gonna try and carry that theme over to the
Yeah.
side porch.
The ground doesn't look level, or it might just be part of the picture, so you're gonna have to do a lot
Yeah.
of movement around before you can put the posts in.
Maybe a little bit. I mean, we're essentially maintaining the same footprint of the existing decking. So I don't know what's under there until we kind of, expose it. But yeah, obviously there'll be a slight pitch away from the house, but it'll be more or less, we'll have to do some grading certainly
Yeah.
before the pavers go down. Yeah, but it is it's actually a fairly flat area if you see it in person. The porch itself, the existing porch, has a pretty generous slope to it. That's, some porches, they built the pitch into it. So maybe what you're seeing is the porch pitch, the
Yeah.
existing pitch, and that's built into the porch.
Do you have any other questions? All right. Are there any questions from members of the public? All right. Do any final comments? No? Okay. So, do I need to close anything, or do we, did I open a public hearing even?
Yeah, you could close the public hearing.
Okay. All right, so we'll close the public hearing.
And then can I make a motion?
Yeah.
Oh, so I move that the DRB approves the replacement of the 2 first-floor windows, replacement of the existing side porch with patio pavers, and replacement of the carriage house exterior stairs as proposed or discussed.
Seconded.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay. Then, go back here. Okay, on this. Close the meeting and the hearing. We did the decision. All right, so the other Development Review Board agenda items are the committee orientation.
That's right. And we have Ashley Snellenberger, the Communications Director, on board right now. And,
You all are free to, right? They're free to go if you
Yes, yeah, you know.
don't have to stay for the orientation.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
Interested.
All right, Ashley, let's see if we can hear you.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Awesome, all right. Thank you guys, for meeting tonight and do an orientation for you. Just so that you guys are aware, this is gonna cover the meeting law and our ethics, conflict of interest in our ethics, policy. For those of you who are new to the committee or, who have just been reappointed to the committee, you will still need to do the state ethics training. And you should have information that has come from Joanne about that. For everybody else, this will cover your ethics training for the year. You will not have to do the state training. We're just gonna have, our committees to do the state training when they're new or they're reappointed. So this will, cover your ethics training that is included in our ethics policy. That's our yearly training for that. Chris does have the ethics policy there for you guys to sign tonight, for me as well. But other than that, that will cover your this will cover your training tonight. So let me share my screen real quick and we will get started with the training. Okay, can everybody see that?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So starting off, I just want to go over each year. We do have a strategic action plan. We developed this, the City Council adopted this in 2024. We have 6 pillars and 18 action items that go along with that. This is the work that we're doing through each of our committees and through our department heads follows our strategic action plan. And so our planning process really starts out with developing work plans for our department heads. They're starting that process right now through July and September. These work plans cover the things that they're going to be doing over this year and the next fiscal year, and it aligns with our budget. These are presented to the City Council during our budget day, and then in June we have our department head and council retreat where we talk about the progress and accomplishments that we've done on the work plans, and then we have priorities for the next fiscal year that are determined that then go into the same process with the work plans. One of the big things that we're trying to do moving forward is making sure that the committee's priorities are also included in these department head work plans so that we have better alignment. We do have a lot of boards and committees. They're broken down into 2 different categories, and this is just, you'll see some of this language as we move forward with non-advisory or advisory. The Development Review Board is considered a non-advisory board because you do have supervision or jurisdiction over a quasi-judicial matters. So that's why you guys are considered non-advisory. So you do have some additional rules that are different from other boards and committees in addition to just being a non-advisory committee as well. So some responsibilities that you as a committee member have is making sure that you're attending and actively participating in the meetings. You're preparing for meetings by reading that material that's prior to the meetings. The next 2 bullets are kind of a little bit different. You have some limits on there because you guys are a quasi-judicial board and your proceedings are a little bit different. You still need to make sound decisions. You still need to vote when a motion is called, but you're not really developing policy like a lot of things like the City Council might be doing. You're hearing the information and making a decision based off of that information. So those 2 bullets are a little bit different for you guys. You guys are making sure that you're adhering to the Municipal Code of Ethics and our open meeting law, which we're discussing tonight, and then notifying the chair, the staff representative if you're unable to attend, especially considering you guys need alternatives. So from the committee chair, you're basically facilitating the meeting and maintaining proper procedures, making sure that the committee sticks to the agenda. You're encouraging participation, and a lot of times that means that you are the last person to hold your opinion to the last. Calling for votes, and then assisting. Some of our committees assist the staff representative with preparing the agendas. Others, they do it
the staff is representative, just prepares those agendas. And then the staff our staff representatives are responsible for any of the subject matter, that they're the experts for the city. They advise on city policy and procedures. They connect with the work that they're doing with our strategic plan to the committee. Again, sometimes it is assisting the chair with preparing the agenda. Sometimes they are preparing the agendas and then managing our budget and our outreach efforts. All right, moving into open meeting law. So basically, open meeting just means that you guys are meeting that is open to the public at all times, except for specific sections. That means executive sessions, or in your guys' case, deliberative sessions. It means that you guys are being transparent, giving the public advance notice of the meeting and what's going to be discussed at the meeting, and then providing them public the ability to participate in the meeting. All right. So when does open meeting law apply? So it is basically whenever there is a quorum of the body is meeting. And you are involved in discussing or taking action and something that is specifically to your board. And it is, like I said, you have the authority or responsibility over the information. So you guys wouldn't have anything to do with, say, speeding. You guys are just going to be looking at those applications that are coming on for development. So a quorum, just so that you guys understand this, is based off the number of positions on the body. It's not the number of positions, people occupying those positions. So if you guys recuse yourself or abstain from a decision, you still have to meet that quorum. And if there's any vacancies on the committee, you still have to make that quorum based off the number of positions. It also applies regardless of the physical location. So if you guys all don't have to be in the same room for it to be considered a meeting. And so if you are having a phone conversation and if there's a quorum of you, then you're discussing things that you have authority over, or something that you guys are going to be talking about, that could be considered a meeting. So we want to make sure that we're not having big discussions outside of this public process. And we also have to think about time with this. So time is not a factor either. So if it's a string of emails and you're having a conversation with a quorum, it still could be considered a meeting under the law. And so one of the things we're going to talk about is just avoiding group emails when when you're talking about things that you guys are going to be discussing. And so making sure that we're, like I said, emails, telephone calls, Zoom calls, anything like that where it has a quorum of the committee that we're discussing information, then you guys want to make sure that you're not discussing that if you have a quorum. So when does it not apply? So when you're doing things like scheduling a meeting, organizing the agenda, or distributing materials that you guys are going to discuss, that's not considered a meeting. Or if you guys are attending things like social events, or you're going to a conference or a convention, any type of special events that the city hosts, those are things that are not, if you guys all show up, you're not considered a quorum because you aren't discussing business of the body. If you just want to make sure you're not discussing business of the body, if you are. If you do, or if you do have an email chain where you're discussing scheduling a meeting or organizing the agenda, those emails just have to be available for inspection under the Public Records Act. So if anybody requested those emails, we would have to provide them. All right. So there are some requirements of open meeting law. Like I said, we have to provide advance notice. We have to post an agenda for regular and special meetings. We have to conduct all business in open meeting unless you're in that deliberative session. You have to allow for public comments. We have to take and post minutes. And for non-advisory, which you guys are, you have to have a recording of audio or video of the meeting, and those have to be posted for at least 30 days following the posting of the meeting minutes. So, what we talked about, we do have an exception that is during your deliberative session. And, you know, this basically lays out what that deliberation means. And it's basically, you guys are allowed to make a decision in deliberative session as long as that decision is issued in writing, and the writing becomes a public record. So you guys can you can close your public meeting, you can have a deliberative session in private, you can make your decision, you can have those discussions privately, and then as long as that written public record is presented, then you guys are okay.
And let me just chime in for a sec here,
Yeah,
Ashley.
go ahead.
Deliberative sessions are not something that the DRB, the Essex Junction DRB has done a lot of lately, but it is entirely within your purview to be able to, after you close the public hearing, you don't have to talk and make the decision like right then and there. You could talk basically in private in deliberative session. It was done, the last time it was done, I think, was for there was an 8 Taft Street case. But for all the development applications lately, I don't think it has been common practice here. But some other municipalities use it all the time. But some other municipalities rarely do it because they want, they want the process to look more public and, yeah. So I think it depends if you feel like if you feel like it's difficult to have an honest, a frank conversation among the committee members about the subject at hand, and it's making it hard to decide, then that's an idea that you could take.
Would that be like a privileged motion that any of us could move to go into deliberative session, and then we would vote, and if the majority of us want to? Or is that something that the chair would just declare?
Ashley, do you know the answer to that? I know the chair has. I know it's common for the chair to just move into a deliberative session if they believe it's necessary. But do you know if it's possible for just members of the DRB to request that?
I'm not 100% sure because you guys are, like I said, you're a little weird with deliberate sessions. I would assume that it would probably be like executive session. So when we go into executive session for the city council, they vote on moving into executive session. Somebody makes a motion and then they move into executive session. I would think that would you guys would kind of have an idea that you were going to do that beforehand. But I think that you could make a motion to move into deliberative session as a member, and then you guys would vote on that. And if it passes, you guys could go into deliberative session. I'm pretty sure that's how it works, but I will double check on that, Luke, and I'll get back with you.
Okay, yeah, and I don't anticipate ever making such a motion.
I mean,
Best to know.
I think it's a good thing to
Yeah.
be aware of.
Yeah, no, I'll double check on that. I'm pretty sure that's how that works, but I'll double check just to make sure. Because I don't do a lot of deliberative sessions, so want to make sure I'm telling you the right information. Okay, so open meeting law, like I said, you do have to have an agenda. There are some specific rules around agendas. They have to be posted 48 hours in advance of a regular meeting, 24 hours in advance of a special meeting. They have to be physically posted at the municipal offices, and then we have 2 other places in the city. That's at Brownell Library and EGRP. They have to be posted on our website and available to anybody who requests them. They have to have specific details on the subject matter that's being discussed. So that means the agenda topic can't just be contract. It has to talk about this proposed contract with an ambulance service. You guys do a great job of explaining exactly what you guys are discussing at your agenda, so you guys do a great job of that. This next section, I hate what it's called because it's really, I hate that it says additions on it, because during the meeting you can remove an agenda item, but you cannot add an agenda topic. So you can't, so if there's something on your agenda, you can say vote to remove that item if it's on there. But you cannot add topics at the meeting because any agenda topics have to be added at least 48 hours in advance. And that is just because if it was something that you guys could do on the fly, that would mean that people who were interested in that topic wouldn't have advance notice of the meeting agenda topic. And so they wouldn't be able to participate in it if they didn't have advance notice. And that's the whole thing about open meeting law. I wish it didn't say addition or changes because you really can't make additions on the fly at the meeting. You can only make remove items. And then we have to include a public to be heard session. Also in all there to give people topics, ability to talk about something that's not on the agenda. But it has to be something that is under your guys' jurisdiction. It can't be something random like a dog ordinance or something like that that you guys wouldn't have any jurisdiction over.
Actually, just in
Yep.
addition about the DRB specifically, because the DRB often is hearing about development applications. There are public notice requirements that are stipulated in the land development code that far exceed the 48-hour requirement over here. Generally, we have to put an ad in the newspaper that is circulate, and it needs to circulate for I think it needs to be like 2 weeks prior. And because of the dates of circulation, it means we have to know by like 3 weeks prior what's going to be on the agenda. There are also requirements about sending notices to adjacent property owners. Staff will take care of that and follow the land development code's requirements to do that. Sometimes for site plan applications, for example, there's actually going to be a sign is put up at the subject property.
What would be an example of something that you would remove? Like, have we ever done that? And could we do that? Because with our committee, because don't they have
I
to
guess
pay a
if someone
fee?
didn't, like if they
Oh.
said, we're not ready, don't.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah,
That
Yeah.
happened one meeting, I think,
yeah.
that they thought they were gonna have something ready and they didn't, so they pulled it.
Can
So-
it be continued? Sorry.
Yeah, no, go.
So suppose there's something on there, it's partially ready, they tell you it's partially ready, so you say, okay, let's continue it and do the entire thing at the next meeting.
That's actually much more common, that these hearings get started and continue. Because if you continue a hearing and it states during the meeting when it's continued to, we do not have to notice the hearing again. So like we don't have to send it back to the newspapers and mail everybody, as long as it's there's like a continued paper trail. So yes.
Any other questions about agendas? Okay. So can you guys meet remotely? Unfortunately, no. You can meet hybridly, but you cannot just meet totally remotely because you are non-advisory. Our advisory can meet completely remotely, but you guys can't. You guys can have hybrid meetings as long as you have at least a physical location and an electronic location, and then at least one staff member or member of the body is at the physical location. So with minutes, they have to be taken at every public meeting. They have to give a true indication of the business that was done at the meeting. They have to be posted within 5 calendar days and available on our website. And the recording, so you guys have to have a recording for you guys' purposes. It doesn't apply for things like site visits or site inspections. So again, we kind of mentioned this already, but things that you need to avoid, and we're going to go over some must avoids as well. So things to try to avoid: replying all to emails, using any type of documents that you're working on, texting during meetings. That should be obvious, but no texting during meetings, especially during deliberations. That's to the public when the public is presenting. And then the other one is just really like things, so let's say somebody was talking about an application that you guys had discussed. If all of you guys were commenting on that same post, let's say for Facebook, for instance, and you guys were all getting on there and making comments, it could be considered a meeting because you're all commenting on something that you are doing business on. So we just suggest that either you have the staff representative, if there's any information that needs to be corrected, that the staff representative is either doing that through the communications, the official channel, or if it's something like your president is going on and saying, you know, this is the correct information, and not everybody's chiming in on that. And then these are the things we must avoid. So making sure that you're not doing any investigation on your own prior to the meeting, so you're only looking at the evidence that are presented to you during your hearing. The other one that we must, we
I have a
must not
question about
keep-
the evidence.
Yeah, same.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I feel like often when we have proposals, we will kind of make a point to get the feeling of the location where something will be happening and just kind of drive by and be like, okay, this is what they're saying about the character of the area, or this is how this will change that.
If you're viewing something that the public has full access to at any time, that's
Got it.
not collecting evidence. That's
Okay. Yeah.
that's just
Perfect.
living.
Because I tend to drive.
I was like, we have promoted that for years.
Because I usually drive by. and
Yes.
I-
Yeah, exactly.
So I like understand where things are.
Okay,
No.
thank you.
Okay.
As long as it's not something that you guys are just, that you have, that nobody else has evidence on, like Chris said. If it's something that nobody else would know about, that's different than going out and doing a drive-by. That's totally fine.
Thank you.
And then the other one is making sure that you're not having direct or indirect communications with the party's representatives, the council, or any person that would be interested in the outcome before that hearing occurs. And that's just making sure that we're giving due process to everybody, and that you are not having specific information that nobody else is going to have. That's the biggest thing, is like, if somebody else would have this information, that's different, but if it's something that you're specifically knowing about, then we want to make sure that we're not having those conversations. If you cannot avoid this, then you need to disclose it during the hearing itself. Like, just like you guys ask all the time if there's anything that needs to be disclosed. If there's something that needs to be disclosed, that's the time to do it, and just making sure that you're disclosing that if there is no way that you can avoid this.
Right. So, like, an example is if the applicant reaches out to you directly, like, you can't stop them from emailing you. Like, they shouldn't, but like they might. Then the best thing to do would be to disclose it, and not to continue the chain of communication with them.
Reply all, get all the.
Exactly. All right, we do have an open meeting law complaint process. They have to be filled out with the city manager. They have to be in writing, and they have to give the specific violation, the committee that did the alleged violation, and request a specific cure for the violation. And the city manager has a process that they have to go through this to either take on that violation and talk about the things that they're going to do to cure the violation, or determine that there wasn't a violation that was made. We do have this information on our website. There's the web address that it has any, and it has information on submitting that to either the admin or to the Attorney General. Okay, so that's the end of the open meeting law portion. Does anybody have any other questions that we haven't discussed?
I have been taking, sorry, this is Susan.
Yeah.
I have been taking notes on my iPad because my eyesight's crummy. Are those notes considered part of the meeting record, which just didn't occur to me until just now? And if so, what do I need to do with them?
So the notes that you're handwriting or taking during the thing, so those aren't really, that wouldn't be something that somebody could open doing a public records request. It's really just emails. And this isn't notes about a subject matter that you guys are taking on. So that wouldn't, this is just your own personal notes about this orientation. It's different than if it's something that you guys are taking on as a body. And then that could be under inspection. Personal notes can be under inspection for if it's something that you guys are taking business on. Did I explain that question?
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, let's move on to Code of Ethics. So we do, the state of Vermont has a statewide municipal code of ethics. It requires municipalities to investigate any ethics complaints. We have to appoint an ethics liaison to receive those complaints, and we do have, they are the point of contact for our ethics commission, And then you guys our staff and our committees are responsible for completing an ethics training yearly, which you guys are doing right now. Again, if you guys are new or being reappointed, you will have to still do the state video and their little test that they have. But if you're not in that position, you're going to just get training through me. Okay. So what is a conflict of interest? And I have the official definition on here, but basically, if you have a personal stake in the outcome of the matter, you have to have a personal stake in the outcome for it to be considered a conflict of interest. So, and your interest has to also be greater than the average person affected by the outcome in the matter. So, for example, like if you're a homeowner and you're asked to vote on property taxes, everybody's doing that. You don't have, you not have a special interest in that. So it wouldn't be considered a conflict of interest. But let's say you guys were reviewing applications for a grant and you're a member of the decision-making committee, but you're also a grant applicant. That means you would have a conflict of interest if you remained on that committee because you have a direct personal interest in who receives that grant and your interest is greater than anybody else in the public. This is also true for members of your immediate family, your business associates, or any household member if they're the grant applicant. So that's kind of how I like to break down this really broad definition of conflict of interest. So what do you need to do if you believe that you have a conflict of interest? Obviously, you need to disclose it or recuse yourself. And that includes if you have an appearance of a conflict of interest. Basically, if the average reasonable person knew all the facts in your situation, would they think you have a conflict of interest? So just keep that in mind whenever you're thinking about conflict of interest. You can do that by making a statement during the meeting if you believe you have a conflict of interest. And if you get into the meeting and you've been going on in the meeting and you find out later that, oh my gosh, I do actually have a conflict of interest, you can continue to proceed, but you do have to have a recusal statement that has to be filed after the meeting. That does exclude any kind of confidential information, though. That doesn't have to be disclosed. Okay, you've recused yourself. Now what do? Basically, you stop participating as an official. So that means that you're not deliberating with the body anymore, you're not participating in the discussion, and you're not taking any official action. You can, though, still participate as a member of the public if that applies to you. You just can't vote or deliberate during the public body's discussion.
I have a practical question about that. Would
Yep.
that mean that we would go sit in the chairs over there?
Yeah, that's basically what you guys would need to do because you're stepping away as your official body. And you would need to set in that as a public member and not set in as a, so you would need to move away from the official chairs.
And then if we're online, like if we have zoomed in, we would do nothing. We would.
Yeah, you would just be there. You would just not make any comments during the time that the DRB is discussing the matter. Whenever if they open it up to public comment, that would be a time that you could discuss it, but it would not be during any of the deliberations. It would just be during that portion of that's open to the public. Okay. So a few other things that are prohibited by our ethics policy. We can't direct others to do what we can't do, so I can't ask Chris to do something that's unethical on my behalf. We can't show any favoritism or to anyone who's carrying out municipal work unless it's permitted by law or written in policy or a rule. We can't use our position for gain in any way, whether that's for information or resources. We can't use the resources that anything that's not available to the public. We are not supposed to have be able to have personal gain from that. We can't solicit or accept gifts with the intent of that gift to influence our decision. We can't make commitments on behalf of the municipality unless we're authorized to do so. And then we cannot personally benefit from a municipal contract. There are a few exceptions on that. And if your benefit is no greater than others generally affected by the contract, if it's an employment contract with the municipality, if the contract is valued under $2,000, or the contract is awarded through a public open competitive bidding process. So that's a little bit, there's a few exceptions to when it comes to contracts. And then last but not least, we have a process for investigating ethical violations. Colleen Dwyer, who is our Human Resources Director, she's our ethics liaison. She would be the person that you would contact on that. It is a written, there is a written document complaint form that you guys have to fill out in that ethical violations if you do believe that. It's on our website, which is listed here. Also on our website is a quick flow chart that identifies conflict of interest. It's really great if like you're questioning yourself whether you have a conflict of interest. It does give a very clear definition of that. If you do feel like you might have a conflict of interest but you don't know, please reach out to the staff though. You can reach out to Chris or myself or Colleen or Regina, and we can work that through and see if that's really something you feel like you might have a conflict of interest. Okay, and that is the end of my presentation. Do you guys have any other questions that we didn't go over, or anything that you had a question on about ethics or open meeting law? Okay, not hearing any. Well, thank you guys so much for letting me take up some of your time tonight to go over this orientation. Again, if you ever have any questions, please feel free to reach out. And Chris, if you'll just make sure everybody signs that last page of the ethics policy and gets that back to me, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I was just gonna flag, I'm not sure, based on what you handed out and what all is listed for number 4, where it has asked if there are requested additions or amendments to the published agenda. If it's that we're only allowed to ask for items to be removed, if we could do that. And then the other thing, which isn't really anything for you to change, but I was looking at it, and 19B did have entering a private deliberative session upon motion and majority vote by board members.
Yeah.
And since any of us can make a motion, I would think that's saying that you'd be free to do it as well.
Yeah.
But
That makes sense. I think that's the procedures laid out in this in the order of events documents were
it was very helpful. I was like, oh, Chris.
they should be helpful. So yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so I can edit this to take out the word.
It's not a huge deal,
But
but
just so that I make periodic changes to this whenever I notice something is inaccurate. So yeah.
I have like a silly question that maybe there's a reason. Is there a reason why we do the public to be heard before we do the minutes for approval? And I don't know, it's silly.
for the order,
For the order.
Or
Or is it that you have to open the meeting before, I always wondered why do we do that? Shouldn't we come in?
Was there one person who came when we were at the library and was the public to be heard?
Okay.
And the thing that he had came to talk about was not
Oh, okay.
germane to
Oh,
the DRB,
and-
that it was like something that
Okay.
he should have gone to the
Okay.
planning commission.
So it was that's first, and then we go to the meeting, and that's why we do the minutes after that? Okay.
Yeah,
I don't
so
think
like
there's-
it
I-
saved that guy
Yeah.
minutes.
right.
I don't know. I always am
Yeah, so the order of the items on the agenda, if there's reason to organize it another way,
oh, okay. There's
Generally,
not
it's-
rules.
generally
I wasn't sure if there was rules.
there are some weird rules. I think
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
fair question.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, maybe that's how you're supposed to do it. Okay. Great.
All right, is that, Chris, you're good with I guess we sign after we would,
yeah, I have the paper copies right here, and you're welcome to sign that on the spot.
Alright.
So if you want to take your time to read it, you can also send it by email after. I would also mention that from time to time, there's training available specifically for DRB and Planning Commission members held by the Chittenden County Regional Planning Commission. When that comes up, I will definitely notify you, especially if you're a newer member on the DRB, just to get a full background on the process, but also the planning at the regional level and at the local level, like how the law applies. I'm also offering to meet one-on-one with new members, whether you're permanent or if you're backup. We will set up a time. I'm happy to go over your role over here, but also go over the history of any development application that we've seen recently, just so you have a sense of how things have come to be in recent years, and how the previous board has come to certain decisions. So, Amanda, we're ready, or we are scheduled to meet already.
I don't know if this is something I'm supposed to say, but Michael printed a copy of the LDC, and I like having the paper version. It was very nice. I don't know if that's an option if you prefer paper. It is also online, though.
Yes, and that is an option. If you want a paper copy of it, just ask. There are some revisions to the LDC that are currently going, through the process right now, the adoption process, and might make sense to wait till the new version comes out. I also find what I like about the online version is that you can search through it, and there's a clickable table of contents. Nowadays, you could also read it. Do an AI assisted read of certain topics, and it can tell you which sections are the most relevant, and it can be very helpful.
LDC.
The land development
Land
code.
development
It's
code.
what we,
Thank you.
It's our
our
it's our zoning
guidepost,
bylaw.
yeah.
I do have one question. So I'm an alternate, so under normal circumstances, I would only be here if someone had notified in advance that they're not gonna be here. But this time around, someone didn't notify in advance and they weren't here, and I was just here because it was the first day for me. So what impact does that have on the rest of the group if someone doesn't show up? Do you all contact us to see if we can come in
Well, that's a good question.
or hold the meeting, or what?
It's the first year that we've had alternates for the DRB, in recognition that it is very important to have a full panel over here. But I mean, we don't expect that if you don't get early notice about attending, that you would be up to speed on the topics. So I don't think there's an expectation that you would be able to participate like on the fly. We might try we might shoot you an email if it's something simple, or if we know that you're already up to speed for something. But in general, it is very important that if members of the DRB can know that you cannot come, that you let us know well in advance of the meeting. So if you don't have 5 people here, you can still make decisions, but you need 3 yes votes for anything to pass. So if you only have 3 people here and 1 person abstains or is recused for some reason, or votes no on something, that motion does not pass. Yeah.
Anything else? All right, can we get a motion to end the meeting? Is that-
Yeah, motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, there's my word. Thanks, Chris.
I motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.